What's going on, guys? So today's video is more of me reaching out and seeing what you all think of a specific topic that I'm considering bringing onto the channel. So first, I get a lot of emails from viewers, a lot of them, whether or not they're sent to me in my email box, over Facebook, over Instagram. I get a lot of folks that ask me questions every single day. I'm gonna say probably about 40 to 50 emails a day from folks that are asking me about, their truck rating, what I would consider to be a good floor plan for this and that. A lot of questions related to issues that people have had and what's the best way to resolve it. And they got me thinking, maybe I should do a segment to where I am trying to help people who are dealing with certain issues with their RV and they don't know where to go. My channel is a reasonable sized channel in terms of the RV community, and I have a lot of connections within the RV manufacturing side of the house. But I think where a lot of people are lost oftentimes is when they have a problem, when they buy a new RV and they've realized that something's wrong. Maybe they have a roof leak, maybe they have an AC system problem, maybe the refrigerator's broken, maybe they have a soft spot on their floor, maybe lighting doesn't work, electrical, gas, some type of an issue, and they don't know where to turn. They go to their dealership and they don't feel as if they're getting the type of service that they should be getting, considering how much they paid for their unit or the fact that they just bought a product. So I'm considering a segment where I will try to address and guide folks who are having those problems to help them get a resolution. Now, I know that there's an RV magazine that does something similar, but the challenge that I think I'll have is a lot of times whenever you submit an issue, that issue is how you are perceiving that issue as happening based on your knowledge of the industry or your knowledge of your specific RV or your shopping experience. Let me give you an example. You may buy an RV and you may feel that your specific one's a lemon because something happens to it whenever you use it. Let's say it's a water leak. Let's say you excessive condensation. Let's say there's some other issue. But maybe the issue isn't the fact it was a lemon, maybe it was how it was transported to the dealership, or maybe something occurred at that dealership, or maybe something occurred while it was sitting on the lot waiting to be sold. Sometimes violent storms happen. Sometimes, the driver who's towing that RV from the dealership to you may encounter some type of adverse condition, adverse weather, something that impacts the RV that isn't readily visible whenever you're looking at it from the outside, maybe even by them, but then impacts you when you take it out. Something that people don't think about oftentimes is, let's say some nail or screw starts to back out or become loose. Well, the more and more you tow that RV or drive it, you're going to start to see that problem get worse and worse and worse. So even though the problem may not have originally existed at the dealership or when it was being brought from the manufacturer to the dealership, a few trips later, you might start to see that issue pop up on your side and you think you got a lemon. What a lot of people don't realize is a hard expansion joint, a hard bump, if that transfers in a really harsh way to your RV, you could cause severe structural damage to the RV and not even know, and you'll again think you got a lemon. So the challenge with a segment like this is people's emotions are always going to be pretty high whenever they are trying to get a problem resolved that's impacting them, and oftentimes they're not going to have all the information they need to properly understand or diagnose why something could occur. I saw a video on that a while back where some owners of a fifth wheel started having all these crazy issues with like leaf spring hangers and things like that bending and their axles being warped. And when I mean warped, I'm talking about like majorly warped, and parts of their roof falling apart and things like that. And I saw the fiasco it created between them, the manufacturer, and everyone that was kind of jumping on one side or the other to figure out what happened. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, as well-intentioned as these people might be, if you hit one speed bump too fast, if you have to make one aggressive turn too sharp, or if you have to, swerve to go around an animal, something like that, all of that can cause major structural issues with an RV if it's done a certain way. 9 out of 10 times, almost anything you do isn't going to really cause that type of an impact, but that 1 out of 10 times can definitely cause problems to occur, especially if it causes the box, the main superstructure of the RV to shift. So just because you feel that, I was towing it normally, I wasn't doing anything wrong, all of these other external factors can play into why you're having problems. And oftentimes they're very hard to diagnose. So even though you may be passionate about getting it fixed and you may be enraged about the problem, it may not ultimately fall on the manufacturer. It may not have been something they did. It might have been something you did and you didn't even realize you did it. You just thought that the RV could withstand it. You just thought that, the bumps that I normally go on never caused a problem, but this one time, we had a major issue. So if I do a segment like this, I don't want to get mixed up in the emotion of it. I want to stick to the technical facts and try to diagnose it through real kind of technical analysis of what you see, what's going on, what could have occurred, the type of roads, the type of conditions, and then see if we can work to a resolution with a manufacturer or a dealership. Anyways, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. I'd love to know what you feel about me potentially doing a segment like this, but it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. So don't start flooding me with complaints that you're having with your RV, because I haven't even decided if I'm going to do this segment. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, leave your feedback below. I'd love to know your comments on this topic. I'll talk to you again very soon.